right, welcome to the Harry Man Show, episode 51. We have an excellent shredding chops drummer on the show today, James Christopher Knoerl. Knoerl? Oh, I messed it up
Knoerl.
again. The
Oh,
Knoerl,
it's all good.
sorry.
It's all good. I got you.
James is, I've been seeing him popping up everywhere. I think he's a huge up and coming drummer. I think there's some huge things coming his way. How you doing, James?
I'm doing all right. I am doing all right.
Yeah, a little
I'm
bit
a
of a
little
spill this
bloody,
morning. Yeah.
but it's all good. Just part of the daily grind, I guess.
Yeah. And I'm
If
sorry
your
about
hands aren't bleedy, can you really post anything on Instagram saying you practice drums today? Isn't you have
probably.
to have like the one like of I practiced for 8 hours. Here's my blisters. I can do
Yeah.
that today. So
Yeah.
we're good. It's all good.
Does that bother you when people do that, or do you feel?
Oh no, I don't. Hey, whatever works for you.
Yeah, I just hate when I see the cliche picture of broken sticks on the ground. You're like, all right, dude, yeah, we get it. Yeah, I mean, and I guess I'm guilty of it too.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing I think of when I see photos like that is, damn man, it costs you like $40 to play drums today.
Yeah, that's another thing too.
You know?
There's like $10 a pop.
Yeah, exactly. That's where my brain goes immediately. So
Yeah. All right, so I kind of want to start from the beginning. How'd you get into drums and when? When did that happen?
so I grew up in a small town in Michigan called Petoskey.
Oh wow.
It's the cool thing about Michigan is you can do your hand to describe where things are. So, because Michigan looks like a mitten. So Petoskey is up here at the top. It's very close to the UP. And one of my parents, like family friends, their son played drums, and I was just kind of like, the classic, like I was beaten up on pots and pans and that kind of stuff when I was like a small child. So my parents just thought it'd be kind of cool to enroll me in drum lessons.
Oh, nice.
So I took drum lessons from this guy up until he left to go to Berklee College of Music in Boston.
Oh, nice.
So pretty much when that happened, that kind of was like, wait, you can go to school to play drums. There's not like a catch.
Yeah.
I don't have to like do math and other stuff. It just drums.
Yeah.
Just drums.
Yeah.
And so once I figured that out, I think that was about I was 10, I think 10 or 11. Once I figured that out, I was like down for the count at that point. So from there, my parents ended up moving closer to the middle of the state, Grand Rapids area, which is cool for me because it was closer to like Detroit, and then Grand Rapids is also another large city in Michigan. So a lot of the big tours go through both those cities.
It's a main vein.
Yeah. So I was like a lot. I was more easily able to go to more things and kind of explore stuff. And I ended up going to a lot of music camps in the summers, like fine arts camps, doing a lot of jazz, classical music. And then I was really into drum lines in high school. And then like all of the, like the state band, MSBOA, state ensemble, whatever stuff where you get rated and get medals and stuff.
Well, not to interrupt you there, but I could definitely hear the drumline stuff in your chops. Was that forced or was that fun to you?
Drumline to me was super fun. I actually fell into the drumline hole pretty hard.
Really? I can hear it.
Because
as a compliment, I mean,
yeah. When I was in high school, my band program was, for a lack of a better word, just absolute garbage. My school was really had no money, and our band director at the time was pretty burnt out of working there for like 30 years and never having any funding, so he just like didn't care. But the thing was I had all this extracurricular stuff with music that my parents helped me get into. So when I was in this band program, I was just like bored. But since it was so disjointed and not very organized with the drumline stuff, you know, because drumline in a marching band does all this extra cool stuff that the rest of the band doesn't do, you know, like drumline cadences and like all this, all the cool stuff. Drumline does all that. So I kind of just got to organize and do all that stuff without any, you know, teacher help. And because of that, that really helped. That really kind of, you know, it was a core group of guys that really pushed me in that direction and just practicing that stuff.
Were you getting more pulled to, excuse me, towards the snare or tenors? What was your kind of?
I was snare for sure. One of my best friends in high school was the tenor guy. So like me and him would just learn all the like Jeff Queen, Bill Bachman, like snare tenor duets. It actually got really bad because in high school, I found high school to be my high school. I mean, I'm sure my high school was not good. So shout out Reed City High School.
Shout out.
But like I didn't really have to try a lot. And I'm not by any means like a super intelligent person, but I did not find it challenging. So pretty much, you know, the way that the school was structured, where it was basically, you know, the teacher would show you a topic and then you would be examined on that topic for the rest of the class by doing some sort of assignment.
Yeah, I think they call it like Common Core now or something like that.
Yeah. It was not hard. So I basically did all that in like 20 minutes and then it was like, hey, can I go practice? So I literally would just go to like, I took a teacher quit halfway through my junior year. And I just decided that like, I think I asked the principal, I was like, hey, can I use that for like the drumline practice room? So I would just go in this room for like 4 hours a day during the school day between every class and just practice. It got to the point where the principal had to come to the room and be like, we can hear you practicing throughout the entire high school. Like, and I was awesome. Like, I don't know, man. Like, what do you want? At least I'm not doing drugs or something.
Yeah,
like,
I think you're on the right track there.
Yeah, drumline was definitely like a big thing for me. What ended up not, you know, taking it to the next level for me was, it doesn't seem like there, upon, you know, further investigation, there doesn't really seem like there is a career path
I think
built out for those players.
I'm not an expert in that either, but I think a lot of those guys end up becoming instructors themselves.
Yeah, and that, I mean, I like teaching and stuff, but this drum set is first love for sure.
Yeah.
So that wasn't really, and then also, not to get into all the nitty gritty details, but like it was going to be impossible for me to convince my parents, hey, I want to do this marching band thing. You guys want to pay $7,000 for me to go on a tour this summer for this marching band?
That's rough.
Or, hey guys, I'm going to go tour with this rock band. Is it cool if I come home with some money? Like,
yeah.
You know, it's like it's a way easier sell. And then just for me, it was just, I think I was probably a little influenced by the fact that like being in drumline in my school was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, we did cadences and I got it. So like we played at all the soccer games, just the drumline and like all this stuff. But there was always like an element to like marching band stuff that's like a couple tiers too nerdy for me. You know what I mean? Like, marching band kid is not like my best friend. So that was another thing with like doing DCI that was kind of not really my bag, because it's just like I don't really watch like, you know, Blue Devils.
Yeah.
People quote like, yeah, the Blue Devils show in 2003 with the and I'm not nearly that.
Yeah, it's like next level stuff.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, but if you want to talk about like Dream Theater scenes, like I'm into that stuff.
Yeah, me too.
In terms of nerd, like,
yeah, I can dork out on that one a little harder.
I do like both, so that was kind of what made me decide to not do that like more seriously.
Well, speaking of which, obviously, I don't want to like title you as a metal drummer, but was your metal influences from high school up, or was that something that came later? You mentioned playing in a rock band. Was metal right off the
Um,
bat?
yeah. So, I mean, my first concert I ever went to was ZZ Top.
Oh wow, there you go.
And I went to that when I was like 2 or 3. And my dad is like a rock dude. Like my dad's a classic like dad.
Hmm.
So he listens to, Van Halen, AC/DC, all the classic dad stuff, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to all the dads. Uh,
We used to call it barbecue rock.
Barbecue rock.
But no, not putting it down. But
Yeah.
I listen to that stuff too.
Is it dad rock now? Like
yeah,
when does when so I guess it's like classic rock, right? But like
yeah.
when are the Deftones going to be called classic rock?
I
Because
think
is
another
it
5 or 10 years, maybe.
all right, but it's going to happen.
Yeah, and it's gonna be.
I always just wondered, like, is that period of rock going to be always called classic rock, or like are like things? Is it like an age thing? You know
Well,
what
you
I
got to
mean?
think Led Zeppelin probably when it got into the '90s became classic rock. Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
yeah, because that was the '70s. So you figure Deftones, that's gonna be probably my midlife crisis area. So
yeah.
if you
Shit,
want
Deftones is classic rock. What have I done with my life?
yeah, I'll be buying a Ferrari now or Corvette or whatever. Sorry.
No, it's good. Yeah, so
Laugh.
I ended up with like ZZ Top and Van Halen and all that stuff, and then like any popular music at that time was NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, but I still had like this pocket of like I was into Metallica and all this like heavy music at the time,
Mhm.
but I was also into like boy bands, so weird combo.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening, this is my favorite music story ever. And I would, my brother was 10 years older than me, and he had like a CD collection with CDs and like a leather pouch, with like all your stuff.
Oh, I remember those.
Yeah. Pepperidge Farm remembers. So I would go in there when he was like at basketball practice or something and just like steal his CDs and listen to them.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, I wonder if there's any other bands like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and what was the other one? 98 Degrees, I think was the other one I had. So I was like going through his things and I was like, oh, Dream Theater. That sounds like a boy band. I'll check that out.
It's not.
And I was like, and then the first thing I heard was that clicking from aggression. And I was just like, and I'm like, what weird crap is my brother listening to? Like, what is this, some like ritual sacrifice stuff happening in here?
Yeah.
And then like, I mean, that listening to that record just changed everything.
Which one was that? Was that
that was Scenes.
Oh, nice. That's a great one.
Yeah, because that was like right when it came out, my brother had it. So yeah, that changed everything for me. So because then it was like,
funny story before you go on in that, NSYNC actually visited my middle school. Some girl won an Oreo contest.
What?
Yeah, so
but that stuff was fake. Like
it was really weird how it happened. So the long story, I'm not going to rant on it, but the band director's daughter won the contest for Oreo, and they had to shut down her school for like 2 days. And NSYNC came in, and I had to hang out with NSYNC in a band room.
Dude, that's awesome.
And I hated NSYNC at the time.
Oh,
it was like kryptonite to me, you know what I mean? Like, but like because I was in the rock, and stuff.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It was just so weird. But looking back at that, I appreciate that more now.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Definitely.
It's just like one of those really weird, like, sorry.
No, that's I always thought like those things, like those contests were always, there was always like some thing that was like, oh, it's actually never gonna happen. But that's
they're real, man.
But yeah, so like after Dream Theater, you go down the prog hole, like.
Uh-huh.
You do all the stuff required to meet the needs of being in the prog hole.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that kind of further investigation of that style of music kind of, and then once I found out that they also went to Berklee, it was just like, oh yeah, this is the vibe now. We will go to Berklee.
Oh, so you went to Berklee as well, right?
Yep. Yeah,
Oh,
I
no.
graduated in 2015.
Oh, nice. You went there for about a 4-year run.
Yeah, I think I made it. Yeah, yep, 4 years.
Wow, that's
I
pretty.
did it like
Congratulations.
four and a half. I did it like 4.5 because I took what I did was, I mean, I absolutely loved it, but I, um, I started and then I didn't stop. I went 5 semesters in a row
Hmm.
and I was loving it, but I was like, oh my God, I need a break. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to die.
Hmm.
Like, because it's just so much information. And I really wanted to be able to, like,
Soaking in the right way.
not just, because I feel like a lot of the patterns and stuff that you learn, I can play them, but they're not like ingrained. You know what I mean? I'm just regurgitating information for a class, not for my playing. So I took a semester off and I worked on a cruise ship. I played drums on a cruise ship for 6 months.
Well, that's training in itself there too.
Yeah, and also a lesson in what not to do with your life if you don't like cruise ships.
Yeah, I've heard that before too.
Yeah, I think everyone who plays on cruise ships says that.
Yeah. Now I haven't asked a silly question. When you went to Berkeley, I heard a lot of people say they go through like a culture shock. Did that hit you at all? Was it
Oh, like the
like I'm a small
small
fish
fish
in
in
a
the giant
yeah,
big pond of
yeah,
everything, death.
yeah.
Uh yeah. So I I have to figure out how to answer this without sounding like a total douche. So I guess I did a summer class. I did a summer camp. I've done summer music camps since I was in middle school.
Hmm.
So the concept to me of going to a place to like play music with people
Hmm.
that were probably better than me was not foreign when I went to Berklee.
Yeah.
It was part of the expectation.
Hmm.
And I've never been a person that's like, I gotta be better than that guy. Like that's never been my MO.
Hmm.
So I mean, I definitely was aware of it when I got to Berklee, but it was something that I had already adjusted to
So you
since
were
I had
over
done
the whole
so.
anxiety from being away from home. I think a lot of people get that
Oh
shock.
yeah, I mean, I haven't been home. I mean, there was like a joke. It was just like summer was a vacation for my parents from me because I would
Hmm.
be gone for 3 months every summer pretty much
The
since I
reason why
was
I mention that is a lot of
14.
people when they go into school like that, it's their first time leaving home, and
Oh
it's like,
yeah, no, that was not the case for me at all. I
yeah,
think that the shock with Berklee is, people come from their environment of being the best at their particular instrument in their town.
yeah,
And then you get to Berklee and you're like, dude, I'm not even the best guitar player in my hallway.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know? So that, but even with that, with me was like, oh, there's a guy on my block who's really good at blast beats. And there's a guy who's really good at salsa music. And there's a guy who's really good at jazz. I'm going to
Mhm.
hang out with all of them and learn what I want and not like be off put by the fact that they're better than me, but it's not that they're, you know, I've also put in work. It's just not in the same areas that they've put in work. So
Yeah.
I never really, I don't know. I never really got like that weird.
Well, I think it's
That,
because you're a lot more versed than most people going into it. But I just hear the same, like I was saying, people get there and
yeah.
they're like, "Oh my god, what am I doing?"
I mean, it's a lot. It's a
Yeah.
lot. I mean, I love it though. I absolutely love that school so
So
much.
while you were still in school, were you still playing with metal bands, or were you kind of just studying primarily?
So pretty much every summer I would pretty much go on tour. So I had a band I started in Berklee called Aviations with Sam.
Oh, nice.
And that was basically me and him and Berklee dudes. The thing with Berklee was like the band scene in Berklee is insane
Mm.
because it's Berklee
Yeah, yeah,
musicians.
makes sense.
So it's quantifiably already better than any local scene.
Yeah, yeah.
So I would do that, and then just through connections with people, I toured with Native Construct. I'm sure you've heard of that band.
Mhm.
They were my neighbors. Like we shared a wall, so I toured with them. when I was at college. Um, toured with this band called the Omega Experiment when I was in college. They're like another prog band. And I did a lot of non-metal stuff too, though. I played with like a lot of singer-songwriters, and I played in a bunch of different wedding bands and cover bands.
Yeah, which
was
I've been there.
Not my proudest moments, but you got through it. And yeah, I mean, I'm definitely known in like the internet as a metal drummer. Like, I'm not gonna deny that.
Yeah, I don't mean that as a put down. I mean,
no, for sure. Yeah. But it's definitely like, I think it's just because the metal stuff. I should shut up. I have no idea why that is, but I play a lot. Like, for session stuff, I do a lot more of stuff than just metal. I think it's just because my metal bands have more of a foothold on the scene, that it's more like that stuff gets more visibility, I guess.
Well, yeah, and I was literally just geeking out. Like, you do have a wide range. I was just listening to your Kingdom Hearts, if you want to call it cover or anything like that.
It comes out on. All right, so we're gonna do a 5-second nerd breakdown here. It is March 25th. I'm learning a record right now for a client, and I told him I would have it learned by March 31st.
Oh, wow.
And the reason that is because Kingdom Hearts comes out on PC on March 31st. And if you think I'm doing anything for like a day after, you're mistaken.
What'd you think of the third one?
I haven't played it.
Okay. Well, I'll let you.
I didn't play it because I bought a PS whatever system it came, a PS4. I bought it. I bought that system specifically for that game. I'm a PC gamer. So
okay.
I bought that system for that game. And then it was looking like that console was never going to come. That game's never going to come out.
Oh, yeah. I remember that now.
So I sold that console when I was moving to New York because I was like, I don't need this. I have a gaming rig, and my girlfriend has a gaming rig. And we have VR and a Switch and like all this. I have an arcade stick. I have too much stuff.
Yeah, so I'm on the same boat with you.
I was just like, get rid of it. I don't want to see it anymore. Every time I see it, I'm reminded that Kingdom Hearts 3 isn't out. Just get rid of it. And then, like, I swear, like 3 weeks later, it was like Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out. I'm like,
you're probably gonna like it. You're probably gonna like it.
I'm gonna play through 1 and 2 for like the 50th time, and then play 3.
Now, was it fun to kind of break that down, or did you add your own parts to that stuff?
Oh, I mean, that thing's fun because like when I do those, like I did a medley of the first Kingdom Hearts soundtrack like 5 years ago when I still lived at home. That stuff's cool just because like
yeah, you relate to it.
I forget the composer's name, but he writes with like a lot of odd times, and his orchestrations are cool. But yeah, I mean, yeah, those videos are me just goofing over top of it, you know, because there's I mean, to me, I hear implied drum parts, but there's definitely not any written drum parts. It's more like in the classical realm than
and I think Thomas Lang was doing a whole Final Fantasy tour too. I was geeking out on that one.
Dude, oh yeah, that's so sick. Oh my god, that's another one, man.
So do you have any future plans to do any other video game soundtracks or anything like that?
You know, actually, I just bought a guitar recently.
Oh, nice.
And I've played guitar on and off since I was like 11, but I never owned like a good guitar. But I bought a guitar recently, and I've been playing a lot of Twisted Metal, which is the greatest game of all time.
Yeah, 1 or 2.
2.
Oh, nice.
You don't need any one other than 2. I played 4 last night, and it was a disgrace.
Yeah.
Just 2. So yeah. I've been learning the intro theme to Twisted Metal 2.
Oh, nice.
So I was thinking about making like a full cover of that, but also that's such like a weird niche game. I feel like no one would care anyways. But also like I just do it for me, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's just considered an exercise.
Yeah, right.
Well, since we're on the subject of gear, I see you have a beautiful DW set behind you. Is that what you primarily play now? Is DW?
Yeah, DW. I use DW toms, and kick and stuff, and then I use offbeat snares. This one Jordan actually just built for me like a week ago. So it's got my. Let me pull it up here.
I can barely see it there.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. It's got like a cantina to it.
Yeah. So it's all brass with maple on the maple reinforcement hoops.
Oh, nice.
And he put my initials in it, which is cool.
Really good, man.
And trick throw off. And yeah, it's sick. I've had it for about a week. I was trying to get it. I just recently finished a record in Rhode Island for the new Aviations record. And I was trying to get it for that, but he didn't finish it in time. But I have another one of his drums that I use. It's a 6.5, excuse me, 6.5 by 14 copper snare drum. That also sounds super sick. So yeah, I just, his snares sound really good, so I like using them.
Well, I was watching your breakdown video, which I recommend everyone check out of you playing that, and that thing sounds killer, man.
Yeah, I mean, also his drums look sick, so it's double bonus that they sound amazing and they also look really great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been really fortunate to work with him on some drum stuff. So
now it looks like you're playing a maple kit there. Do you feel like that's a more promising recording wood, or is there anything you prefer over maple?
I don't really have the education to answer that properly.
Oh, no, I'm just asking your personal taste.
Yeah, I just know what I like. Like I don't I'm kind of old and grumpy. So this drum set, my dad helped me buy it when I was like 13.
Oh, this has been around with you for a while.
It's been with me for a bit.
Yeah.
And it's my favorite drum set.
I love that color.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks flamboyant. And
not what I meant, but
well, no, it's just like it's a loud drum set. You know what I mean? Like it looks loud. So, and through the years, I've bought other drum sets for like gig because this drum set doesn't leave this room. It's strictly for recording. And I've bought other brands over the past, 10 years just to be like, oh, I'll just get something else just because I don't really have another. I think I got paid $2,000 for this drum kit. It's like, I don't really want to drop another $2,000 on a drum kit. That's going to get beat up. You know what I mean? It's going to be a road kit. I ended up at one point I had like 5 drum sets and I was like, they all don't sound as good as this one.
Yeah.
And I remember being on a family vacation with my girlfriend's family. And I was talking about this problem to my girlfriend's mom. and we were just like having beers, just hanging out. And she was just like, she just said it made so much sense. She's like, well, why don't you just buy the same drum kit if you like it so much? And I was like, that's a genius idea. so funny though is this might have been a little bit of beer inspiration, but I immediately got on eBay and found 2 of the same drum set, and I just bid on both of them. Different finish, but the same stuff.
Oh, nice.
The one I ended up getting is a 2010 Maple 10, 12, 14.
Oh, nice.
Which sounds a little darker, but I like it. But I ended up bidding on 2, and I had the winning bid on 2 of them up until like an hour before, and I'm like, oh my god, what did I just do? Like, I need 2, not 3 DWs. I need 2.
Yeah.
So thankfully, whoever outbid me on that one, thank you.
Yeah, saved your life.
Yeah. So I don't know. Are there other drum kits that I've heard that I like? Like I really like those Sonar SQ2s and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's just one of those things where it's like there's this as well. There's so much like intricate things that we can geek out about.
Oh yeah, I just got a Purple Heart and I'm like still trying to figure out how to tune it.
Yeah. So you're like, but once you it's so refreshing to just like know that you've got something about your sound just like locked in and you don't have to worry about it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that
Like,
feels good.
so I I haven't looked at drum sets in years just because it's like I have two DWs and they sound exactly how I want them to sound, and that done. Don't need to worry about it anymore.
Well, I noticed that you're also a vivid Mino player there too, and that kind of brings to your sound a lot too. Is that something you've been with a while, or you kind of just found Mino over time?
I think Meinl kind of blew up when I was in college, and I think Meinl did a really good job of positioning themselves in
the metal market.
I got into them not for the metal market. They were really in the like the Berklee, like,
oh really,
the Berklee I don't even know how to describe it. The Berklee jazz influence on everything kind of thing.
I didn't know that.
So they were like all the dark stuff and like just that stuff. I was like, oh, that stuff sounds good. So I started buying Meinls then, and then I did a tour with the Faceless.
Oh, nice.
And got to get some industry pricing on a bunch of stuff, and then just went ham. So
yeah,
rocking all those.
They sound great, especially the way you have your splash configuration to your left too.
Dude, all right. So I do this thing. This is my third story of explaining this. I do this thing where sometimes I just like get stoked and I buy a bunch of stuff. But this splash right here is, I am never buying another splash in my life.
Really?
It's the Meinl Byzance dual splash.
Oh, nice,
dude. Oh man, I bought it like 2 days before that session in Rhode Island, and everyone at the session was just like, "Yo, that splash." It's one of those symbols where like every time you hit it, I feel like the person who's tracking you is just like, wow, that fill was sick. And the fill is really not that special, but you hit that symbol and it was just like, oh yeah, all right, that's dope now. So
icing on the cupcake.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
Yeah. So I want to talk about, are you currently playing with Brand of Sacrifice? Is that your primary band right now?
I mean, I play in 3 bands and I try to split my time as equally as possible, which ends up with me just not sleeping a lot. But yeah, I mean, Brand is trying to, I mean, we just put out a record in March. And I mean, we're trying to get back out on the road when it's safe.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up too.
Yeah, so we're just doing album release stuff still and trying to plan the eventual return of live music.
And when do you think that, in your opinion, you think that's next year or later this year?
I would prefer later.
Yeah.
I'm like super I only have one lung, so I'm like super immunocompromised. And so I kind of take it pretty serious.
No, that's not what I meant. I just meant like your predictions as far as.
Oh yeah, no. But I'm just saying, like, I would prefer if it would be later, just so that way we don't have like. I would rather not rush into it.
Yeah.
Just because I'm not. You know.
That's understandable.
Plenty of things for me to do.
Yeah.
In the time, you know.
Yeah, and well, speaking of which, are you still giving lessons as well?
Yeah, I mean, I teach. I probably do like 3 or 4 lessons a week. I used to teach full time when I lived in Boston. I had like 35 students a week.
Oh wow,
which was a lot.
Now, were you doing it in person, or are you doing primarily Zoom style now?
I just use Discord. Yeah, just because it's easier, and you know, I've got like, well, for this, I've only got the one camera setup, but I've got this camera, I've got a camera overhead, I've got a GoPro camera, and I've got a foot cam. So I feel like it's sometimes even easier, and everything's mic'd up, so it's like even easier than, you know, doing in-person lessons. I feel like, because as opposed to like, all right, now Jimmy, come over here and check out my foot for this technique. It's just like, all right, let me switch cameras. Boom, done. You know.
Nice. And that's what I was going to ask. Before we moved on to that, do you see are you using triggers all the time, or do you see that you just use them when you need them?
I only use them for Brand.
Oh, only for Brand?
I'm pretty like, I mean, I've got my thing here, but I'm just like too lazy to pack it up every time I'm not using it. I only use it in brand just because I use it when it's stylistically appropriate is the short answer. You know
I
what
was
I mean?
gonna notice when I heard some of your stuff, it sounds real natural. Then I heard the trigger sounds, I was kind of confused. Or
yeah, I mean, I use it when it's appropriate. You know, like that. I've been. It's just that's the style. You know, I don't like using them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like a. You mean we could go on all day of
All
triggers, doubles, all that crap. I mean,
no, I wasn't trying to open that can of worms. I would just.
Oh yeah, no one wants to open that can of worms.
Yeah,
but it's just to me, it's like regardless if you like it or not, it's the sound. So it's like, are you trying to serve the music or your ego? So you know, that's my take on it. Now, my thing with triggers is it's not playing a kick drum, in my opinion. It's not. You're not playing. It's a different instrument entirely. I feel like when I play with triggers, I have to play different than when I play without them. Just for but I could also maybe my settings are garbage. Maybe all that stuff. So yeah, I use them when I need them for bands. I generally too I use the MIDI out a lot. Just for if I'm tracking for a client and if they want that information, they can have it. So that's one thing that I use from it. That's pretty cool. So
nice. And I didn't mean to, like I said, open that up, but so that was a dumb thing to bring up. But if someone wanted to reach out to you for lessons, what would be the best way to do it?
I am jamesknoerl.com. Super easy. Nice. And my email is just jamesknoerl@gmail.
Nice.
And my name is James Knoerl.
And I wanted to reach out. I'm blanking out right now. You were just recently on a YouTube video where you were hired from Fiverr, I believe.
Yeah, so I do a lot of session work on Fiverr. I had a friend of mine who was asking me advice about that yesterday, and I realized that I'm the #1 Fiverr Pro drummer on the site, which I didn't know until yesterday. So that's
congratulations.
funny.
That's pretty big, man.
I didn't even know. But yeah, so how that happened was for those of you who don't know what Fiverr is, or it's a freelance marketplace. It's basically a more refined version of, like Craigslist, essentially. Is you go on there looking for a service and you've got multiple people that are offering that service. You decide the one you like and then you hire them and then you move on your merry way. Right. So I've been on Fiverr since the inception of the site, like 5 years ago. I actually started using Fiverr when I was in college because it was kind of a good way for me to learn how to record, because I didn't go to Berklee for music production. I just went for performance. But it was a good time for me to start doing it because I could ask questions from all my MP&E friends. I was also doing a lot of sessions in the MP&E studios, so I could ask a lot of questions. So it was I kind of nailed it on the timing of that, even though it was completely not intended. So with this Fiverr thing that I did with Steven Taylor, who's that his name guy, he basically sent me, fairly common to what happens every time I get an order on that site, is they send me a song with the BPM and a drumless track, and they say, have fun. So that's what happened. And then he liked mine, so that was cool. But yeah, that was kind of the gist of it. It was kind of fun. He's a nice guy, so
yeah,
had a good time with it.
Yeah,
it was fun to see another video iterations of people doing the same track. I thought was kind of interesting.
And you were honestly one of my favorite ones on there, to be honest with you.
Thank you. Yeah. Was it the playing or the sweater?
I say the playing more likely. I got to go back and watch it again, but it was a great whole overall video. I love those because it's kind of like a reality TV vibe. But it's not. But it's not, though. It's real talent as opposed to like.
Yeah, and I also appreciate Steven's. Like I've talked to Steven with it about it a lot, and it's like I appreciate his. He's like positivity first on that kind of stuff, because there's like a lot of. At least maybe my search algorithm's all messed up, but it seems like there's a lot of what's the way to say it. It was like just like a lot of like negative like hate posting of like drummers and musician kind of stuff, and it's just like, man, you don't got room for that stuff. Get out of here with that.
Yeah,
And
so
I like Steven, how he's very much like, oh, they could have worked on that, but you know, they did this. And it's like, thank you for being a good, a good ambassador for your instrument.
yeah, I agree. That's I think that's more important than anything else.
Yeah.
So before I let you go, what would be the best your YouTube? What would be the best way to check out or reach out to you? YouTube.
YouTube or my website, jamesknoerl.com. I've been doing a lot of sessions lately, so, and teaching, and lately too, I've been getting a lot of emails about recording and stuff, which is funny because I didn't go to school for recording. But
well, I think the
my
whole
stuff sounds good. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think the like whatever you want to call it, shutdown, pandemic, whatever. I think it's encouraging a lot of people to start their own home studios, as of myself. So I think guys like you that are more pioneered in it, are definitely valuable. I mean,
I wish I could have a home studio. I wouldn't get in bike accidents if I didn't have to leave my house.
Oh yeah, and I'm sorry I had to drag you from the bike accident this morning.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I think my hand is totally cleaned out by now.
Yes, I hope that doesn't affect your vaccine or session work today.
Just an extra couple of. It's more reason to get clear heads, right? Because the blood won't show up on them, and these coated ones, it's gonna look like I did a knuckle on the rim or something.
The worst. So James, it was a real pleasure to have you on. It'd be great to do it some other time, maybe when everything opens back up. But like I said, I'll share the link to your YouTube. I highly recommend checking out James' videos. I mean, I go down the rabbit hole with these all the time, especially the last couple of weeks. But James, it's been a real honor to have you on the show.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. Next time we'll talk about beard products.
We'll do that too.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, James.